Well, joining us with her perspective, Maverick PAC National Co-Chair Morgan Ortagus. Morgan was also an intelligence analyst for the United States Treasury and the Deputy Treasury Attaché to Saudi Arabia. Morgan, we know that the gunman, Omar Mateen, pledged his allegiance to ISIS. Your thoughts?
Good morning, Nicole. First of all, let me just say how completely devastated I am for the families and the victims in Orlando. I grew up near Orlando, so it's just quite tragic day yesterday. The interesting thing about all of this is that this lone shooter, this lone wolf attack, plays exactly into the propaganda PR campaign that ISIS has. They actually have quite a sophisticated campaign, Nicole. They have media centers throughout Syria and Iraq that focus on putting out propaganda videos. They're very active on Twitter, and they encourage not only recruits to come either be foreign fighters if you're a man, or come to be a bride if you're a woman, but they encourage these lone wolf attacks because this plays into the worldwide PR campaign that they are trying to scare people, of course, into thinking that they have a reach far greater than they do militarily in Iraq and Syria. So, but of course it's devastating, but it does play right into this very sophisticated media machine that they have.
Hey, Morgan, this is Lauren Simonetti. We just sent out some tweets that the presidential candidates wrote yesterday morning. They've all issued statements. So how does this affect the race for the White House now? You know, we keep talking about the economy, that being a top issue. Well, terrorism is a top issue too, but now is it the issue to campaign around?
I think it's certainly got to be one of the top priorities. And really, what we have to look at is not what Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump issued yesterday in terms of their statements. What I really care about is what is their plan to defeat ISIS, because you can issue fantastic, beautiful statements, or you can issue poorly worded statements, but none of it matters unless you have a plan to defeat ISIS. And not only does that mean first accepting and identifying radical Islam for what it is, but that also means that we have to work with our partners in the region who are with us on the ground, who understand this fight. You know, this is something that we've been in since 9/11.
Right.
This is you know, what are we in, 15 years now?
Yeah.
So again, what I'm looking for in these candidates is, I'm less concerned about what statement you release, but what is your plan to defeat ISIS? And until we get realistic that we have to go after the militarily in Iraq and Syria, these type of attacks are going to continue, because
right. These are the key questions, right? Like, what are your plans, and
absolutely.
how do we fight ISIS? I wanted to bring it right back to this Orlando massacre, and you know, Mateen as well, obviously being unstable. And you mentioned 9/11, a classmate noting that he even changed after 9/11. Talk about the surveillance about him. He was investigated by the FBI twice. Now they're looking at his cell phone, his computer. This week is so important to find, did he do this on his own? Did he have direct, obviously, communication with ISIS that told him to do this?
Absolutely. And the one thing that we, of course, know about the FBI is sadly, while he was under investigation and they didn't catch him, there are hundreds of more that we have heard from the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI have said of these type of people that they stop. So we know that ISIS has sympathizers in the U.S., in the West. And I think the one thing that the U.S. government hasn't looked at closely, because it's a really difficult thing to tackle, is the propaganda that they put out. So you were talking about about his cell phone. You know, what is he contacting ISIS through Twitter? Is he contacting ISIS through Telegram? I mean, the social media is really the radical mosque of today. So you used to go and get radicalized in a mosque and you heard messages. Now you just need to go on Twitter or on Facebook to get radicalized.
Morgan, you're so right.
I think they're really our new radical mosque.
Morgan Ortagus, thank you so much. You're an intelligence expert, Maverick PAC National Co-Chair. Morgan Ortagus, thank you for getting up with us on a very important day to break this all down for us. Thanks, Morgan.
Anytime. Thanks, Nicole.